Alright, right now in the 5 series, we're going to look at 5 hip hop albums that changed my perception of that artist or that group, okay? And we're going to get straight into it. The Diggable Planets. Now, their first album, in retrospect, their first album's a great album. But at the time, I was like a soul boy, jazz funk kid in London, running around clubbing it. And I was kind of like, being a little bit pretentious about that first album. Wasn't really into it. It never felt like that real hip hop to me. I looked at it with like a jaundiced eye. Is this real? Is this a gimmick? What is it about? Wasn't really sold on the Diggable Planets. And then their second album came out a couple years later, Blowout Comb. And from the moment my friend put the needle to the groove, I was like, this is it. This is some authentic jazz, hip hop. And I just fell in love with this project, and it made me revisit that first album and appreciate it more. I was such a fanboy of this record that a few years later I moved to New York City. I was doing some freelance work for this magazine. I ended up interviewing one of the members, Ish, about this upcoming album that he was doing. And all I did through the interview was just fan out about Blowout Comb and ask him a bunch of questions about it. I was just so in awe. Brilliant record. Changed my perception of this group. Diggable Planets, classic. Next up, Queen Latifah. All hell for Queen. I don't know what happened, because I was originally a fan of Queen Latifah. I saw her way back in the day do a gigging at Dingwalls in London with the Flavor Unit when like she was mad young, and also I was mad young. I was a fan, and then as I said, time evolved. I kind of lost track of her. I somehow got this album. I don't really know why, but I had this album. I never played it, and I was selling literally. I can remember it was 100 records. I was selling to like this record store, and a bunch of records, but they never wanted this. So I kind of took it home and I played it, and I was like, why didn't I listen to this record all the time? This is a great record. And why didn't I listen to it? It is produced by Mark the 45 King, who is one of those guys. But I just overlooked it because it never seemed something I would be into. And it turned out it was a great album. Changed my perception of, I wouldn't say perception of her, but my perception of this record, because I now love this record. Good album. Next up, Mobb Deep, my favorite rap group of all time. When Mobb Deep came out originally, they came out amongst a batch of other like young kids that were doing rap, right? Like ABC, Illegal, and Mobb Deep came out, and I listened that first album. I was attracted to them because they looked so grimy, and Primo did like a few of the beats and stuff, but the album wasn't that amazing. And then once again, a couple years later, I think that Shook Ones 2 came out. Shook Ones 2 single came out first, and of course that had us stuck. The opening line, "I got you stuck off the realness," just really applied to it. And when the album came out, we were just like, we're not worthy. And they've been my favorite rap group ever since. They really pulled a rabbit out of the hat with this one, because nobody expected that. Anyway, QTip Amplified. Of course, Tribe, legendary rap group, one of the greatest rap groups of all time. Some see them as the greatest. And I was just so stuck on the Tribe world. I never really, I won't say I never really bought Q-Tip like as a solo artist. I wasn't really giving him a chance. I was like, why Tribe breaking up? What's going on? Why is it going solo? Just keep doing Tribe. I don't want to hear all that. And then the Vibrant Thing single came out, which I loved, but it was like radio. It wasn't Tribe. I want Tribe. I want to hear that boom bap. And I ended up getting the album, and it's produced by Dilla. It was like, duh. And it's an amazing album, and he's continued to put out really good solo albums. That's the thing about Q-Tip. Tribe are such a monumental group that people forget he puts out solid solo albums and has never made a bad solo record. So that changed my perception. J. Cole, I was into J. Cole from the mixtape days, and J. Cole he got his deal and stuff and started to put his albums out, and I was always a fan, but his subject matter seemed pretty like limited. It's like he couldn't get over the hump. It's like subject matter was like he had some issues with like his father or like his stepfather, relationships with like girls and women and stuff, and whatever else, and being the dopest rapper or MC, not getting the credit. He seemed like he had a chip on his shoulder, but he could spit, and I was a fan, but his subject matter seemed somewhat limited, and I never thought that he'd be able to really get over the hump and reach the levels that I saw Kendrick Lamar kind of climbing to. It seemed like he never evolved. And then he dropped this album with no fanfare whatsoever, and I listened to it and I was like, this is it. All great artists to me have that one album where it falls into place, and you know they're going to go on to do great things. And the moment that I heard this album, I knew that J. Cole has arrived properly. Like, he's the man, he's kicking up dust, and he's here kicking up dust. He's kicking up dust, and he's here to stay. And it changed my perception of somebody that I was already a fan of. Anyway, 5 hip-hop albums that changed my perception of the artist. There you go. Good Fine Records, Hi-Fi Recluse. Let's get it.